Hey, we're live. It worked this time. First
Hey.
go around.
Well,
Well,
good afternoon. Almost said good morning. Welcome to this week's Living in the Texas Hill Country. Um, I'm trying to get my screens together over here.
I hit
But
the button too soon. It's my fault. It's my fault,
no,
guys.
it's okay. I had it up and then I clicked off of it, and now it's like, um, but yes. So anyway, we are,
It's just
uh,
gonna be us today.
yes, we
You're
are
stuck with us.
solo today. But we're going to talk a little bit about master gardeners. And so they have uh, they have intern classes twice a year, and your county may be having a class starting in January. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and kind of go through what it is and what they do in case anybody's interested.
So, and this is something that, and this is same for, and Carly and I were talking before we hopped on, is Carly was like, I know nothing about Master Naturalists. And I was like, perfect, because I know nothing about Master Gardeners, because this is like two completely very similar, I would say probably very similar programs, just their area of focus is like garden. Well, I guess not even gardens, just plants in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I so coming from if you know me, you know I worked in Harris County for a little bit. My perception of master gardeners was very garden focused, vegetable
Yeah.
garden specifically,
Yes.
herbs of course and things like that. But over here in the Hill Country, the focus is a little bit different. So there are plenty of master gardener groups that do community garden type focus, and with that comes vegetable gardening, herbs, and things like that. But a lot of them focus a lot on like native plants or introduced plants
Yeah.
and landscaping and things like that. So it's different because to me, when I hear gardening, I think of cucumbers in a bucket. But
Cucumbers in a bucket, really?
yeah, that's kind of like the first thing that pops up, or tomatoes. But yeah, so my perception has shifted. The Hill Country Master Gardeners, or Master Gardeners in the Hill Country area, I think there's actually a chapter called Hill Country Master Gardeners. So I don't want to say them specifically, but just in this area in general, they tend to focus on uh, native or introduced landscaping species in natural habitat and things like that, which does have some overlap with master naturalists, but they do. I think master naturalists do widely more than just that, so that's what makes them different.
Yes, no, Master Naturalist is, I'm trying to think of all the chapters. I know they cover like they have different chapters on like birds and then mammals and reptiles, and then they get into like geology and ecoregions. And I want to say maybe even hydrology, which is the how water, like the study of how water moves. Trying to think of what else. They just talk about like I normally give a talk called The Nature of Naming. So we talk
Oh,
about
cool.
like how you get scientific names, which not the most riveting topic, but I have done my best to make it as fun as possible.
That's
Um,
cool.
but yeah, so yeah, I would say Master Gardener was like a lot more focused. And Master Naturalist, like you said, is very there's a lot there's a lot to cover in the natural world of things. But it's definitely interesting that yeah, it is a lot more diverse with the gardener side of things. That yeah, like you said, I would have originally thought it was like tomatoes and cucumbers,
Yes.
and it does dive into those native plant species. So you had mentioned that you have some new classes starting. Is that what you call them?
Yeah, so I like to call them the new intern class, and I think that might be the official title for
Generic.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of how it works is it is a volunteer organization, and so to become a volunteer, you with with our organization, since we are an extension of A&M, and then they are an extension of us. So there is an application process, and depending on how big your county is, I know here in Blanco County, we do review the applications and just make sure that it's a good fit. But our group isn't so big that we have to turn away applications. It's just kind of a conversation that we have with them. You know, once we go through all the requirements and all that good stuff, are you still interested? And if so, we will accept you. Some other counties that maybe they have hundreds of master gardeners, they may have a limit on either how many they take every year, or if their organization is a certain size, they can only be that size, they can't expand any further. So different counties do it a little bit differently. But that's sorry, you had asked about the classes. Okay, so once you put your application in,
it's such a like it's such there's it's not as simple as you like sign up and then that's it. Like there's a little bit more involved. I mean, you're a volunteer, you're basically becoming, I hate to say almost an expert, but like you're really and truly like you're getting trained.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the gardening side of things. So how many times is it just like one, I'm not gonna say one class. Is it you'll basically sign new members up once a year, or is it like you'll do it like twice a year that you'll kind of have in Master Naturalists, they call them like quote unquote classes, like the class of like 2026 or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So your class is more or less a cohort. So, and I don't have the exact number, but our cohort meets, and it may be different in different counties, but it's generally once a week for, you know, mid-January through mid-April, just depending on how many classes your county offers, individual classes. Once you complete all the classes, you then have to get so many volunteer hours, however many your county requires. Usually it's 50. And then you are a certified master gardener after that. And so those cohorts, like I said, some of the larger counties, they'll probably have them twice a year. Here in Blanco County, we just have them once a year just because we don't have a big enough size population to accommodate twice a year cohorts.
And I don't know if I mean, I guess you could in some of those like more urban areas do more than two, but I imagine it's, I mean, like we've talked about, it's very extensive training.
Absolutely.
So I think you could probably do two classes or two cohorts. That's probably a better term, two cohorts. But I think it would definitely be a little bit challenging. But if y'all like are watching this and you're like, no, we do like two cohorts a year, please by all means, like throw it down in the comment section what your chapter is, because we're very curious. Because I mean, Texas is a big state and everybody does it a little bit different, which I guess kind of leads into that, like the Master Gardener program is like a huge overarching, like the name. But then underneath that, you sort of have these different chapters that you can become a part of. So how do you go about, like, can you describe sort of like what that chapter is and then like where you can go to find a chapter near you if this is a program that you're interested in?
Yeah, and I'll actually go to it because I know exactly where to find it, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing any steps on there. But
I was gonna say, I think I can have you, if you want, you can share. I'll give you, oh, I'm trying to share my screen. I'll give you capability to share your screen.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. That might be easier.
Okay. You have the power.
Thank you. Let me get it pulled up first so that I'm not, oh wait, hang on. Okay, I got it. But yes, is that working?
It's thinking. There we go. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so if you go to the Texas Master Gardener website, so essentially this is, we like to call it the mothership Master Gardeners. So this is kind of the state version. So this is the Master Gardener for the whole state of Texas. And then there's some resources in here. So you can go to, let me double check. Sorry, and I'll just keep talking. But so not every county has a, I don't know why I shared my screen if I can't find where it's at, but not every county has a Master Gardener organization, but you can always look up if there is one near you. sometimes there's one, let me know if you see it, because I'm
I was
just
gonna
kind
say,
of,
is it down at the bottom of the main page?
is it?
Mm,
I think it's under. Well,
mm.
sorry.
We'll find it and we'll put where
Oh,
it's
here
at
it
in the comment
is.
section.
Sorry.
Uh,
So you have to go to contacts
oh,
and then association by county. And then I'm in Blanco, so I'm just gonna do A to C. And then all these counties will pop up. And so if you're in a county and it's not listed on there, just find the one closest to you, and chat with them and make sure that they'll take people from outside of their county. But once you click on one, it'll bring up their page, and then you can kind of learn how to get in contact with them. So on ours, we actually have an inquiry page where you can get in contact with us. It actually gets emailed to the same email that we have listed somewhere on here. And but we all have access to that. We all check it. And so I think we are pretty easy to get in contact with. And that's usually how it goes. It either goes to the agent or like the president of the local association, and things like that. But most of the time they'll have just some different guides and things. If you have a quick question that you just want to research real quick, you can always do that. And then, of course, like I said, get in contact with them to ask any questions that you have or how to join. And so, like on our page, we have how to join the intern class. And so that was another thing I failed to mention. We call them interns because you're interning to become a certified master gardener, to be that expert that you're going to be trained to be. And the application is usually pretty simple. Ours is just a quick front and back just to get to know you a little bit. And we've got information about our meetings on there and what the requirements are. So I think this is pretty standard for everybody. Typically, you have to do 50 hours of your education, which you get in your intern class. So that's not in addition to the class that I mentioned is from like January to April. So you get all 50 hours during that class. And then in addition to that, you do have to, or we would like you to get 50 hours of volunteer service through activities. And usually there's plenty of activities. Like I said, some of those other counties, maybe they have community gardens and they just need somebody to come water a couple times a week. All those things count as hours, so that it's pretty easy to get normally within a couple of months. If you're pretty active and you're wanting to learn about the group and what all there is to do and things like that, it's pretty easy to get the 50 hours. We ask that they pass a background check as well. And that's just a really simple background check just to make sure that you don't have any red flags with like money or especially if we're working with kids, we just want to make sure that that person is okay to work with kids and things like that. And then, so that's kind of what your first year looks like. And then after that, you don't have to go through the cohort classes anymore. We just ask that you get volunteer hours and continuing education hours. The state requires a minimum of 20 volunteer and 10 educational. Your county may require more. There's more to do. There's more of a need there. In our county, we just have the state minimum because we have members that they some of our members, they get more than 100 hours, so that everybody has plenty to do. But those that maybe they work part-time or anything like that, we have those hours a little bit lower to invite more people into our group.
and those continuing education, are they expected to go out and I'll say like find their own continuing education, or do y'all offer at y'all's meetings, do you do continuing education there, like bring in speakers, or they, like I said, expected to go to like attend, like if NRCS is putting on something, or there's a local, I don't know. I don't do plants. I try to keep them alive, but like some like local workshop that's going on, how do y'all like decide what is and is not considered to be continuing education?
Yeah. So any I let my master gardeners, if they find a class that has anything to do with native plants, gardening, even entomology,
Mm,
um, type stuff, they are more than welcome to attend that. They send me a little email and say, hey, here's the agenda. I'll approve their hours, and then they can put them in. They have a little system that they can log it in. So I see it on there, but usually they ask me, hey, is this okay? Can I log 3 hours for this? Absolutely. It all uh, goes toward, you know, our mission and what we do. Um, but if there's, you know, a little dilly that maybe it has nothing to do with what we do, maybe something like that wouldn't be approved, but it would just be a conversation with whoever approves your hours. um um Sorry, I'm very ummy today. We
I think we're all ready for like we're all
Yeah.
ready for Thanksgiving to come around, and we're just like thinking of like our favorite sides, which okay, sidetrack. What is your favorite Thanksgiving side that you look forward to?
This is controversial, but I'm gonna say it. It's green bean casserole.
Ooh, see, that's one I did not grow up with. That is
Really
one that I did not do until I got here to Texas. Uh,
interesting.
I'm a stuffing person. Like I love homemade stuffing. Now I'm not talking about dressing. Another thing I learned is that dressing and stuffing are two different
Yeah, see, I
things.
still don't understand that one. To me, I don't know.
So my husband's family does dressing, which is
Okay.
like cornbread.
Okay, that
Again,
makes yes.
correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. But I think dressing is like cornbread based. Like you make the cornbread and then you like crumble it up and then like mix it with some other stuff and then rebake it. But stuffing is like the bread cubes. And then I know this is also controversial. Some people will like stuff the turkey with the stuffing.
Yes.
Other people don't. I like the stuffing from the bird. I know some people say they can make you sick, but that is like put some gravy on it. It's the
I think
best.
why it confuses me so much because I would think that stuffing is stuffed and then
Yeah,
dressing. I don't know. I think of liquid when I think of dressing. But
me too. Me
my
too.
my grandparents, so I grew up super East Texas, border Louisiana. Um, and my parents or my grandparents make dressing. They do call it dressing, and it is a cornbread base, so it's clicking
Okay.
now. But they do it with like crawfish, shrimp, um,
Oh,
turkey neck bits, and things like that. Yeah, they didn't tell me till I got older, but
yeah.
we had like a Cajun seafood dressing, so that makes sense now.
I think I would try that. Like I would still try the turkey necks. Like would I maybe like it? I don't know, but I would still
It was chopped
very
up
much.
so small. It was
Oh,
like boudin. You know, you don't even know it's in there.
gotcha. But yeah, y'all, if you're watching this, put down in the comments like what your favorite side is. For me, cranberry sauce is the thing that you can leave off the table. I'm not a cranberry sauce
Yeah.
person at all. Like just
I,
I don't get it. But anyway, back on topic. I
that was
had
a
to
fun
ask.
segue.
I had to ask. But okay, so I guess so you're talking about like volunteer and your continuing education and really and truly those numbers, like if you do the math for volunteer, you said it was 50 hours, right?
Hmm.
So it's like if you do 5 hours a month, so even if you do like an hour every weekend plus a little bit here and there, at
You're
10 months, you're at your 50 hours. So it's really not hard to get there. Maybe the continuing education might be the slightly bigger challenge, but even then, you pretty well said that, y'all
I
put on
started thinking,
programs.
yeah, and I apologize. I was going to say that too. So we have meetings, you know, every month throughout the year. Some counties may do it a little bit different. I know for us, like we skip a July meeting just because everybody's on vacation. Um, But at every one of our meetings, we do try to have an educational component. And so we'll have some fun stuff. Like somebody came a couple of months ago and talked about spiders. And so that was kind of like an entomology credit. And you're not required to get certain credits for certain topics. It's just 10
It's just
general. Yeah. But we had somebody last spring. We have a lot of local lavender people, and so we had somebody come
yeah.
talk about lavender, and she brought, I don't know, 3 or 4 different kinds, and you could smell the difference. She had an edible one that maybe I don't remember exactly. It was like an oil or something, and they tasted it, and so that was cool. We have some really cool, fun topics, and it's not just sitting in a room listening to someone preach to you. Type of thing. It's usually they try to make it fun, interactive, hands-on. And so for us, we give one hour per meeting. So if you make most of the meetings, you've got your 10 hours
10
there.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the volunteer hours. So what are some of like, what does some volunteer, I'll say activities look like for, and I realize every chapter is going to be completely different, but what's some of the volunteer stuff that y'all, like your chapter does?
Yeah. So we try to put on a couple of public classes, and I hate to call them a class, like a workshop.
Yeah.
We've had, I'm trying to think of one that we did in this last year. There was one that was really cool that I liked. I think they called it Trees for Bees, and it was just kind of a little hour and a half, or maybe it was a 2 hour workshop that the public was invited to. It was free to attend, and it was just kind of for landowners who are passionate about pollinators and the environment and things like that. And they wanted to learn, you know, what trees specifically. So we know about plants, but what about trees? Do bees and butterflies and other pollinators enjoy? And so they had somebody from a bee organization come and talk from their perspective, and then a person that specializes in trees come and talk from their perspective of it. So you kind of got both ends of it, and so you know we'll have things like that a couple of times a year, and just something that the you know landowners and people in the community want to learn about. We'll try to cater to that. And so that's a big part of their service hours, because the planning and then the execution of it, of course, takes a lot of hands and a lot of hours sometimes. But then we also try to have some demonstration sites as well. So in Blanco County, we have at the Lyndon B. Johnson settlement. There's like a park and a settlement, and there's 3 or 4 different locations there. But there's a settlement area it's like there's a walking trail through there, and it's open to the public all the time, but it is part of the national park system or state park system. I'm sorry, I should know, but
it's kind of like a weird, like I know what you're talking about, like it's a weird, I want to go up there and check it out, but it's kind of like a weird little kind of a weird little property, because it's not a wildlife management area, but it's not technically a state park, but it's owned by the state. A historic site? I guess maybe that would be
I
like
think,
the better, like what it would be categorized as is a historical site, I guess.
and that's why I get so confused. They tell me all the time, and I can't ever remember like what the actual technical name and who the organization is that's over it. I just know the guy that lets us in.
Yep. You're like, you got the keys to the gate. You're the most important job is you let us in and then close it behind us when we leave.
Right. And in this particular area, it's open to the public, and a lot of people walk. You know, in the mornings, I think that you're allowed to have pets out there, so people walk their dogs and stuff like that morning and afternoon. And part of that trail is a plot of, I think it's 18 different grasses, and so there's some native grasses, there's some introduced ones, like a pollinator site, and they've got different like I think, and I may be wrong about like the history of it, but I think a milkweed popped up in there one day, and they were like, okay, let's make this one a pollinator site. And so now there's a bunch of milkweed, and there's some other things like Turk's cap that they put in there for to attract pollinators. And And then I think there's a couple of turf plots as well. So it's not just little blue stem over here and Side Oaks Grama over here. There's also like St. Augustine. So you can just kind of see the difference. And then also it demonstrates how, they do try to water it and keep it healthy, but we can talk about these don't need as much water. They're native, they're adapted. That's how these plants grow, and that's why they do so well over here versus your turf grasses, and just how they're different. Not that necessarily one's good or bad, but just how they are different, and then you can make an educated decision on what you want to plant. But anywho, so something like that, they do have to go and weed it and water it and things like that, and that takes a lot of man hours as well. I'll kind of plug in Kerrville, Kerr County. They have, so their Master Gardener Association is a little bit different. Theirs is a multi-county, and I don't want to say the counties wrong, but I know it's like Gillespie County, Kerr County, and I think 2 others. And so they're a very, very large group, and they have projects all over their counties. No, in Kerr County specifically, they have a really, really strong junior Master Gardener program. And so they work a lot with children, and I think they're up there several days a week working on the kids have the responsibility of working on the gardens and what have you, but the adults as well, to try to lead and supervise the kids. And then they also have an educational component to it as well. So I believe they meet, I think it's once a week that they meet and do a little lesson with the kids, and then the kids, follow through with whatever's planned for the week in the garden. And so that takes a lot of volunteers as well. They have a huge garden site. If you're in that area, you should get in contact with the extension office to go see it, because it's an amazing area. It's really, really cool.
And I think the one and I guess kind of have 2 lines of thought, and I'm debating which route hole do I want to dive down right now. I lost my train of thought for the one, so we'll start with the other one. So I love the fact that, because I don't think Master Naturalist has like a junior Master Naturalist. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I don't think so.
It's a mouthful. So the fact that Master Gardener has like a junior component of it, I'm assuming, and that's going to also be a chapter by chapter basis, but I'm assuming does Blanco County have a junior Master Gardener?
We are actually trying to start one. Bless you. Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. I have a cold, if y'all can't hear it already, so I apologize for the sneeze. Go ahead, Carly.
It actually kind of like muted itself.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Zoom. I appreciate that.
But bless you. But we are actually trying to start one. We've had some interest with a few kiddos that wanted to get more involved in horticulture type things, not necessarily gardening like we talked about earlier, but or vegetable gardening like we talked about, but just kind of wanted to get their hands dirty. And so we said, yeah, sure, why not try to start one? And so I think we just had our second meeting.
Oh, so like brand new, like
brand new. And so we are trying to start one, and there's a couple of different things that you can do with it. There's a full-blown certification program, and it's kind of similar to the adult program. They're required to meet so many objectives in I don't know if the kids actually get a book, but there's like a educator's book, and you have to teach so many lessons out of it. They get it signed off on, and then they complete a hands-on activity that goes with the lesson. And at the end of it, if you stick with it and do all the lessons, you can have it done in less than a school year. But once you're done, you're a certified junior Master Gardener, and you're like a real Master Gardener, just a youth version of it.
Right.
And then for people who may not be able to dedicate that much time. Sorry, somebody just slid something under my door. Oh, it scared me. There is a abbreviated version of it, and so it's called a Golden Ray Series certificate, and like I said, it's just abbreviated. So it's a a cluster of lessons and a cluster of hands-on activities, and you get a little certificate at the end. And so that's something that we're trying to do for our kiddos and make sure that they get all those objectives met.
So, okay, I remember my other question. So, with Master Gardeners, will the counties, I'll say certain counties like combine into a single chapter? Because it's like I know for Master Naturalist, they kind of go more by like eco region type. It's like
Sure.
oh gosh, I'm trying to think. It's like here in Uvalde. It's like it's Uvalde County. I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but I know it's Uvalde County, I think Real and Kinney County, I think are the three counties that make up this Uvalde. They call it the Brushy Canyons chapter.
Okay.
Do they do the same thing with Master Gardener, or is it strictly like Blanco County is Blanco County and Kerr and Gillespie have their own, or do they like, will some areas combine? Do you know?
Yeah, and so like that area specifically, and I can't remember what the 4 counties is exactly, but I think it's Hill Country.
Okay, so it's like a very generic like hill country, but it includes like a couple
Yeah,
different
yeah,
counties.
and that's a good point. I don't know if they do it by ecoregion or just by you know, whatever county agrees to be
I was gonna
in,
say, I guess for plants it'd be like hardiness zone, I guess would maybe be the
that would
best
make
way.
sense. Yeah.
Then since yeah, unless you were yeah, plants are kind of those you could do hardiness zone or ecoregion. It would just depend if you're going more native plants or ornamental. But I guess both would kind of honestly work because even with or hardiness zone would still work because there's some plants down in deep South Texas that will not make it up in the hill country, let alone the panhandle. So
Sure.
um so I mean I think honestly this is a great program. I feel like I don't even know if Uvalde has one. I don't think Uvalde has a Master Gardener program. I know we have several plant groups, but I don't think we have Master Gardener. If they did, I would probably join one to again learn how to keep plants alive
Yeah.
better and learn how to do a vegetable garden outside because growing vegetables in Pennsylvania is completely different trying to grow vegetables in South Texas where it is very hot and very dry and things tend to cook underneath the Texas sun. So I guess like what are some of the biggest benefits that you see from people when they become a master gardener?
Yeah.
Like, why should people do it?
Yeah. So it's more than just and I want to say too, there is kind of a misconception that you have to already know a lot about plants to join.
Mm,
That's really the whole point is to teach people from the ground up. If you already know stuff, great.
great.
If you don't, you know, you're just as welcome. We don't ask you to be an expert to join, because through your cohort you learn all the things that you need to learn, and then you just continue to learn. And so that leads me into what are the benefits. Learning, of course. If you enjoy learning and spend your life wanting to learn and explore new things, this is for you. Because not only do you get that portion of the cohort, but then, you know, with your continuing education hours, you're opened up to more opportunities. And I was going to mention that earlier too. Sorry, jumping around everywhere, but
Yeah, we're covering a
um,
lot. It's all connected. It's all connected.
um, the so one of the benefits is you have access to more than what the public would have access to
Yes.
with the classes. So there are some advanced trainings that are really, they can be really, really in depth, that are only open to master gardeners. Some of them are open to master gardeners and master naturalists, and you know they can get different things out of that class. But yeah, usually there's limited spaces on those advanced trainings, and they're highly sought after because of how well presented the information is. It's a high level, like you said when we did the program back in September, you said this is like a college degree in a day.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is for those advanced trainings too. So that's definitely a benefit, but also the other side of it, you get to stay active. A lot of people in my group, at least, most of my members are retired, and so they want to stay active. They want to keep their bodies moving, and gardening can be a form of exercise for sure. So just keeping yourself young and youthful in that way is definitely a benefit, just kind of to your health and your morale and your mentality. And but then also the sense of community that you get with it as well. Maybe you're new to an area and you don't know anybody. It's a great way to make friends.
Yes.
It's also a great way to plug into the community in other ways. We work directly with our, not directly, we work a lot with our city's Chamber of Commerce and things like that. And so you just get more out in the open. And we have some members that don't necessarily, they're introverts, and so they get kind of shy with stuff like that. But it's it is what you make it. It's, if you are really, really social and you love being in with the community, you get that out of it, but you don't have to. It's just it is what you make it, for sure.
Yeah, no, and I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's like, who doesn't love spending time outside?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's always very refreshing, like to just be outside, and then you get your fingers a little dirty and it just like, I
Yeah,
don't know. You can't have a bad day if you intentionally get your fingers dirty. Like,
absolutely. And
um,
it's so rewarding too. We have another garden site here at our county annex. It's right by our courthouse. There are a lot of there's several Esperanza plants out there,
oh
and
yeah.
this time of the year, I walked over there the other day, and they were absolutely covered in monarchs, and it was refreshing to see, because they put a lot of time and effort into that, and I'm sure the people that do go up there and maintain that garden, it was a lot more rewarding for them to
Right.
see those butterflies there. But that's just one example of many.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we kind of gave everyone kind of a quick rundown of Master Gardener. It's definitely something that it, it would be, like we just said, a very rewarding program to become a part of. But is there anything else that you wanted to share about Master Gardeners? I mean, I think we kind of
I think
covered it all.
yeah. And my apologies for not knowing 100% of everything, but
Hey,
but that,
that's
like I said, it's a lifetime of learning. So
well, and like you said, every chapter is a little bit different, so it's kind of hard to speak as to what all the other chapters do. You just know what your chapter does.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess if you don't have anything else, I mean, I guess we'll turn everybody loose
Yeah.
for
Um,
Thanksgiving.
but yeah, if that sounds fun, if you're listening and that sounds fun and something like you might be interested in, you can always reach out to your county agent or to the chapter directly if you go on the website and look. And I'll link it in the comments as well, so it's easy to find. But yeah, reach out and see if they have a class coming up in January. I think most counties do one in January, and then the fall one is kind of, some counties do, some counties don't. And if you just want more information and make sure that it's a right fit for you and that you're ready for it, you can always just reach out and ask them, and then get started. So
No time like the present.
yes.
All right, everybody. Well, we hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving. Safe travels to everyone as we go spend some time with family and friends. But we will see y'all next week. Maybe. Uh-oh. I don't know if we lost Carly or y'all lost me. But we will see y'all. Oh, you're back.
Okay.
Did I freeze or did you freeze? Okay. Somebody, I was gonna say somebody froze. So do we have anything, somebody planned for next week? I feel like yes, we do.
Yeah.
I never look before we hop on.
It's all good. We're gonna have my husband on for exotic deer and species ID. We're just gonna chit chat about exotics because
Because
why not?
the whole country has plenty of them. And sometimes you see this animal and you're like, well, I saw
What
an
is that?
animal. I don't know what it is. It's not a deer. That's about all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Or an axis. Probably deer and axis are probably the two that a lot of people can identify, but outside of that, they may start getting into an unknown realm. So
Yes.
we're very excited to have Carly's husband on next week. But again, hope everyone has safe travels. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see y'all down the road. So
Thank you.